What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning, it's Gamma's World. What's up? Nice to see you. How you feeling, Gamma? How are you doing? How is that recovery coming? Hey, Anel Furman, how you doing? Happy hump day to you as well. I hope all is well with you all. I hope this good hump day, good Wednesday have found you and yours well. Uh, I'm doing better. Okay, great to I'm hearing. Good to hear that. Good to hear that. Healing is coming, girl. You're gonna have. I'm hoping and praying that once this heal, girl, you're gonna be able to, as I have seen many people do, just like a new knee. Like you got a new knee. You're gonna. Is this gonna be just like that? Um, I've seen people go through recovery different than mine, and man, it's like their world just changed. So we just keep in prayer that your recovery keep going as it's going, doing better and getting better every day. Takachi Williams, welcome back. It's been a second, Takachi. Welcome back. Shout out to Takachi Williams. And yeah, Gamsworth's cheering. Yeah, it's going to get better. Going to get better. uh, Kobe's been wrecking my nerve. He done tore up the. I had to go and order a uh, thing for his crate. He done sat there and tore the crate bottom up, y'all. So I had to order him a metal plate for his a metal because they said with this type of with his aggressive chewing, I'm more than likely going to have to, make more investment in things. So I went and ordered a metal thing for his crate so he won't be able to tear it up and chew through it. He, I heard him, and what he done tore a hole inside this thing, y'all. So yeah. Hey, Kimberly McNeil, Justice, what do you think about the press conference from morning in the Nolan Wells case? Well, let me check it out. Let's see, because I hadn't heard anything different other than yesterday. I mean, the other day, the funeral the other day, and not just. Um, oh my God, I just kind of broke down because seeing that mother walk behind her child's casket was just heartbreaking. Um, mm, whew. So yeah, after that, I was just like, let me take a breather here. Because for any mother to have to walk. And my mother did that walk 2 times. My mom and my dad did that walk 2 times. And just to see a mother having to walk behind her child's casket like that, it broke my heart. Uh, yeah, Kobe's in his big boy phase now. Yeah, but let me see what's going on this morning. Um, uh, Nolan Wells. Well, give me a little bit of insight of what you know, Kimberly McNeil. What's been going on? Nolan Wells case. Hopefully, my iPad will stay with me because there's a couple of cases I want to talk about. Okay, wow. No severe injuries found, but 7 key questions remain. Okay, so what I'm looking at that the autopsy found no severe injuries, but found 7 key questions remain. No Bell Swami has released an independent autopsy in the wake of his mysterious disappearance. According to us, they could not rule out foul play, but did not find any fractures or deep tissue injuries on the teen body, and say important questions remain. Now, when we talk about fractures and deep tissue injuries, they were looking for some type of impact, right? Was there anything, a weapon, or did he fall, or hit his head? So upon that, looking for deep injuries and wounds, they were looking at something could impact, an impact to the body, a weapon used. If he fell and hit his head on a rock, it would be some type of fracture or some type of line, fracture line, or whatever they're looking for, and they didn't find any type of trauma to the body, is what they would call it. They didn't find any type of trauma to the body, but it's undetermined. Based on the book, a lot of things happened to Nolan Wells' body in that water for 2 days. Like I said, it's hot water, and like I said, if when a person drowns, especially if the water temperature, you have a lot of activities from the creatures in the sea. But so far, they were undetermined cause of death. He could not rule out foul play, but there were no any fracture or deep tissue injuries to the team body. Uh, he noted that several limitations to his findings chiefly lack of access to Wellenboys in the immediate aftermath of his death, the lack of access to his pants of Wellenboys, which some pants of Wells' body which remained with law enforcement, and a lack of answers about how Wells may have drowned and whether he was conscious at the time. Again, that body being in the water for that length of time, and then what did they recover from the body? What, the clothing. So he didn't have access to all the stuff that would probably be a part of the puzzles. All right. So Michelle noted that Wells' body was so decomposed by the time of his second autopsy that he may have missed signs of bruising and abrasion. Again, you know, how did they store the body continue to decompose? So, I mean, but he identified real red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back behind his ear, according to Crump, who called that after. Very significant. Why is he looking at the discoloration on his back and behind his ear? Why is he looking at that discoloration on his back? What do y'all think he's looking at? It's a possibility they will, and it's a possibility they won't get. This man is being drugged. It does not mean that he wasn't drugged at all. So anything could have been present. Medical examiner wasn't present, so Crump read results, and he couldn't really explain as good as the medical examiner. Take that as well in consideration as well on Kimberly McNeil. So it's undetermined right now, Kimberly McNeil. But when you look at, if they're noticing redness on the back, what do you think they're looking at when they notice summer? Again, the body was in that water. It deteriorated. Lots of things happened to that body prior to coming out of the ocean. Okay? Or wherever that body was located, I can tell you right now it was not pretty. Okay? The cause of his discoloration, which was quite large, wasn't unknown. He did not see any cuts or fractures. So, no, possibly hit him with something. They could have hit him. But when we look at discoloration, was that body somewhere else and put into the water? Then this is my opinion. When a body first, let me look at it like this here. When a person dies, and they're like in a position, if they're on their back, that coloration, they say red. Sometimes I'm indicating, and just I could be wrong because there's a color, probably something with the color. I'm not sure yet. Wherever that body position is when that person dies, and that livor mortis, I hope I'm saying it right, sets in. It sets the coloration in the part of that body, right? That's how sometimes you can tell if body was moved, right? If I got this discoloration in the back and I find a person on their stomach, something tell me that body was moved because we got discoloration in the back. Now, it could be a bruise to the back, but they found no trauma to the back. They found no trauma. If we got a bruise if we got discoloration on the back, where is the trauma to it? Where is the trauma? What instrument? What could have caused it? We would have an imprint, not just discoloration, right? So what I'm thinking, that body was one place and did they put it in the water? They hit him with something, but yeah, McNeil, they could have hit him, but they don't find any trauma yet. They didn't find any impact wounds yet. Because that's what he's saying. They didn't find anything that, but again, the body is so decomposed that anything could have happened. So not ruling out what you're saying as well, Kimberly McNeil, not ruling out what you're saying as well. But that discoloration tells me, leads me to believe that possibly Just possibly. Because remember, there was a lot of movement on that boat. Remember, that boat traveled. We know Nolan Wells was on that boat, but they say some evidence was significant. Yes, and that discoloration on the back, and again, like you said, the medical examiner would probably explain it better than the attorney. I'm not saying that you're not right. Maybe the medical examiner could explain it better. My concern about the discoloration is because so much movement happened with that boat on before it got back to dock. That boat stopped. They said the boat stopped. There was I'm wondering, were they trying to move his body? See what I'm saying? That discoloration on his back, did was he on his back for a period of time after death, right? Whatever happened, was he on his back first? Okay. Trauma behind the ear, discoloration behind the ear as well. But they got some significant evidence. The cause of this column, which was quite large, was unknown. He was also not able to examine his lungs and stomach. Lungs and stomach. That's another part. Such as signs of drowning, because most of the time, if they can get to the body quick enough, there would be signs of drowning. They would go to the lungs as well, and the stomach contents, such as drowning, because the investigation had already dissected Wells. Oh my God, organs. Remove his throat structure as part of his official investigation, which Mitchell said was standard. Okay. They did that. They didn't get to the body quick enough. The medical examiner for the family, unfortunately, didn't get to the body quick enough, didn't stop them from doing any further examination, didn't get a stop. I don't know what they could have done to stop them, because a lot of the organs were taken out. The throat structure was missing. So this is standard medical examiner procedure for the first medical examiner. So they really, the what appears to happen is, because of the first medical investigation of the body, a lot of the structure, a lot of things were removed, and so the medical examiner for the family got what was left. So unfortunately, nobody, I'm not sure, because at the time they were still dealing with questions, and the medical examiner for Mississippi got to the body first, and so when everything, they got what was left over. That's just the ugly part about it is they got what was left over. Now, what the Mississippi medical examiner put in their report is what's going to also state that they found sign of drowning. Because if he drowned, what did the Mississippi medical examiner come up with? Anybody know? Because I hadn't found anything. The mother should have been pissed. She's going through a lot of emotions. I'm pretty sure she's angry. She is, I could imagine the range of emotion that she's going through. And we're not going to see all of it. We see what she allows us to see. But I'm pretty sure she's running the gamut of emotions: disbelief, hurt, pain, answers. Do my son right? Can you imagine? I'm not saying, and I've read some places and heard some places that people are questioning the mother's action and being on social media and being able to express. This woman lost her child. And the world today put it before us in so many ways. We're getting information overload because of social media, right? So we can't complain. This mother has to come out here because of different things people are putting out. She's in the race with social media. And she has a right to come out here and express her concerns, because if she doesn't, somebody else will, right? She is the mother, and she's going to handle this thing the way she knows how. Nobody knows what that mother is you could empathize and sympathize because some maybe people have lost their child before, but how this mother reacts, then again, you're right. Social media gives us an insight of what's going on, but here's what's different today in social media. We're now dealing with AI. We're now dealing with such another. Bad enough we had social media, which is a good thing, give us more information. But now the other thing is we're dealing with misinformation, intentional misinformation, misleading information. People trying to throw things out as well as they did in the what's his name? Oh, the Kamala Anthony case. People are now able to generate images and stuff like that and information through AI that now you have to feel through to make sure what is right, what is wrong. So again, you're right, Kimberly. Social media has given us an insight that we didn't have before, but now we are able to kind of dissect this thing here, and it's sad. So three questions. So the questions that Mitchell, the attorney, um, okay, but then again, if it wasn't for social media, it wouldn't have gotten that much attention. Much definitely. The thing about social media and having a cell phone today, and it's like a double-edged sword, right? It's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing, and then it's a bad thing. So we got something good, but it also can be used for bad. That's the thing, right? We got something that is so good. It gives us information. It shows us. If we didn't have cell phones, imagine if there was no cell phones, how many cases that would have just been sunk and done horribly, but because somebody was able to have a cell phone, it helped a lot of cases. And in many cases, it didn't help. And then in many cases, we see how cell phones could be abused. We watch people tape people getting beat up. We watch boys back in the day that would help in a fight just sit there and watch girls fight and they videotape it. And other times you don't even want to get involved anymore. A lot of times where people used to go and break up fights, that could be a thing to you could die trying to break up a fight. Of course we'd like to see men being men and break up fights, but they're scared. They're scared as well. I told you guys about the story at the hotel when the girl beat up every hotel employee that was at the front desk and chased them into the main office and whipped their behind. But guess what? There were several men, not boys, several big grown men watching this event. And you know what they didn't do? They didn't get involved. Why? Because the girl had at least 12 other friends and a big ass boyfriend watching this happen. So the men didn't want any part of it. They were afraid. So again, what did people do? Like myself, videotape, but I turned my video over to the police. I just not only videotaped that situation, I turned it over to the police as well. So let's get back. So they have several questions um, that the medical examiner for Ben Crump team, and let me see if I can find the questions. How you guys doing? Welcome in 3-1, man. Ruth, okay, what is the news? What is new? I don't know. You tell me what is new. Uh, so uh, so there's several questions that apparently also there were also other Anna Luna lives that same weekend, justice on the same dying on weekend in Mississippi. Also, there were also others unalive. I see what you're saying, girl. Uh, speak to text, do that to me as well. So I'm gonna talk about that as well as St. Louis. I'm gonna talk about St. Louis, Illinois. I'm gonna talk about that as well. Um, Crump previously said that the independent report was conducted in Washington, D.C. because the family wanted it performed by a pathologist with no ties to Mississippi law enforcement. Crump said the examination was at least partially founded by the NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, and his legal team would also and that his legal team would also be conducting its own investigation. Um, okay, she was told that Bell's mother previously told reporters that she had called authorities to report her missing that Saturday night, but was told she needed to contact another agency. She later learned that one of the people who had been with Wells on the boat had already contacted the U.S. Coast Guard that evening to report him missing. So he was reported missing on Saturday evening to the U.S. Coast Guard. Additionally, she had said that she got a call from one of her son's friends who was with him that day, offering alert her to what happened. The body was discovered in the water near the northwest end of Horn Island 2 days after he was last seen. Um, they want to know why Wells' family had why this family had the cell phone and they had to track it down. They want to know why this family had his cell phone and they didn't offer to turn it over to them. They had to track this cell phone down to get it from him. So there's several questions that are still open. I'm looking for questions from the medical examiner. Um, Closed. Okay. The remaining key questions, according to Mitchell, are: was there any evidence of intratracheal hemorrhaging or bleeding? Was Wells on his stomach? What was in Wells' stomach, and what did the toxology determine? So those are the questions. Was there? They checking for toxology, food in the stomach, and any internal bleeding. I know she should have had to do that. She shouldn't have had done that. Hey, butter cookie. What's saying body parts were missing? No, this is standard. The medical examiner for Mississippi did exactly what they were supposed to be doing, right? To do a medical exam. Unfortunately, when the body got to Ben Crump's medical examiner, what was left was what they had. Nobody done anything. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't know, but I'm saying this. I don't think Mississippi medical examiners taking body parts and hiding them. I think they did the initial, what they were supposed to do, standard. But by the time Ben Crump got the body to Washington, D.C., the body parts that were normally supposed to be examined was already done. So what we're hoping is that the Mississippi medical examiner would answer the questions, would be truthful, and be honest about what they found. That is just what is now. So no, I don't think there's any missing body parts that was done intentionally to hide at this time. What they're hoping is what Mississippi medical examiner does is release the information, toxology, stomach content, hemorrhaging, anything that they got questions that they would have found and asked questions about. But I don't think they're like, I think what he's saying, the neck was missing. He said that the neck was missing because it was taken out to be examined for drowning. The throat area, they removed the throat area. That's the neck. I know it's being said, but where's the throat? In the neck. So they're removing those items. They're not, the neck is just not walking away. They got to have to answer, why did you remove the neck? The neck was removed for what type of examination? They're talking about the throat area for the examination. So I don't think they're like saying that, because this has too much of attention for them not to be able to answer these questions. Because if they choose not to question, if Mississippi medical examiners do not come out with the answers that the medical examiner is looking for, whether it's good or bad, they're going to have to come up with these answers. Because this is standard. He's the last questions that he would do if he did the medical exam. These are the questions he would have to answer. So what he's doing is like, I'm going to put this out here in the public. Y'all need to be able to answer these questions. All right? It is so public. It's like y'all can't hide this. So yes, the neck is not there. Y'all remove the throat. It's standard to examine to see if there was any trauma. Was there drowning? Give me the y'all. We want answers on this thing here. So for me, what I'm thinking, I could be wrong. The Washington D.C. medical examiner is like, you will have to answer these questions. Y'all didn't send me a full body. I want y'all to answer these questions. Okay? Y'all had the body before me. What happened with the neck? Why? What happened? What was y'all findings when y'all removed the throat? What was y'all findings when y'all removed the stomach? Because most of the organs were removed prior to Washington D.C. medical examiner. They're not answering the question, just hiding the truth. As long as this thing stays in the public eye, they're going to have to come up with some answers eventually, or it's never going to be put to rest. The thing is, you may not get justice through the legal, but that's always going to be a question. Unfortunately, we're praying and hoping that if this is something wrong, if these kids or somebody did something to this child, that the parents would get some answers, right? We're hoping and praying. But in the case of, if it just goes in unanswered death, which we have lots of time ended, that the death is questionable, there's no answers, unfortunately, that's where it may lay. And then it's still going to take the investigation of the team, people going back and talking. A lot of things happen in this case that will always leave questioning. Why wasn't people questioned earlier? Why wasn't the son, why didn't they turn this boy phone over to the parents when they got back? If they called the Coast Guard out there, then why didn't anybody say, hey, we called the Coast Guard? Okay, why people have to learn this information? Why are we learning that a call was posted to the Coast Guard, right? Why, if y'all knew y'all called the Coast Guard that evening, why didn't anybody go to this family house and say we called the Coast Guard? Why didn't they take their phone and his keys to the family house? If y'all had to call the Coast Guard, somebody should have been over to the family and said, hey, we got Nolan keys, we got his car, his phone, we called the Coast Guard. That did not happen. Why was his account deleted from his phone? Why are they still in possession of his phone and they know they had to call it? Somebody called the Coast Guard. If you called the Coast Guard, why wasn't the family notified? The kid's mother is a judge, for crying out loud. There's something in the milk getting clean. Kimmy McNeil, she said that she deleted the account. She said she deleted her son's account and maybe her account too. She admitted to deleting these accounts on her son's phone. If I'm correct and I read it correctly, I believe this judge admitted to deleting the accounts, the social media accounts on her son's phone and possibly her phone, if I read it correctly. Okay, I believe that's the first thing I read. The neck is part of the body as well. It can be used. Where's the body parts placed back in the body? No. You have to dissect those body things. I don't know if those parts are put back in the body. They have to go through. Okay, the question is going to be answered because the body was truly deteriorated. I couldn't imagine what the body looked like coming out of that water for 2 days, especially hot water. I said that before. I had the unfortunate, I've seen what drowning looks like times 3 when the body sits in the ocean, in the water. So I could imagine in hot water what it looks like. And I know what happens to the body breakdown. If anybody ever experienced anybody drowning in the ocean, and if they've been there, that's why they take the bag in the ocean when they're putting the body in it, because trying to pull it out the ocean like they did, the body falls apart. Okay, let me say that the body falls apart. So meanwhile, I couldn't imagine the pain of the family. Must hate them send so many wives. And they sometimes Ben Crump said it his own words. Yeah. We also got to know that when Ben Crump says something, it's said to ignite, to make questions happen, and that's a good thing. But also, it's going to keep the questioning coming. It's going to keep Nolan Wells in the forefront. But the medical examiner is asking the right questions. He's asking the right question that needs to be asked. You did this autopsy before me. I need these answers. That's the best thing. Because if they did the standard autopsy, if they did the proper autopsy, his medical examiner is asking the right questions. What was the stomach content? Where's the toxology? And where's the in some type of bleeding? He's asking the question that, if not asked, if they took this body apart the way they did, they need these answers. They removed the organs. Of course, they removed the stomach. They want to know the time. What was the food content? That's time of death. Because we know the digestive system. What was in his stomach? What did he eat? What was the stomach content look like? We're talking about timing. Everything is based on time to determine the time of death and where was the body upon the death. Okay? Head beautifully healed. Everything trauma to the back of the head. They didn't find anything trauma to the back of the head. He didn't find anything traumatic. He didn't find any fractures, any skull fractures. He stated, the medical examiner, not the medical, but Ben Crump, whoever the investigator, as I read. Now, if y'all read something different, please understand I'm only going by what I just read. They didn't find anything traumatic on the body. Fractures, broken, anything that indicate impact on the body. Didn't find it. Let me go back and see if I can find it again, what the medical examiner said. Because if I'm reading this correctly, the medical, from what I'm reading, again, my source may be different from you guys. So I'm not arguing a point what you guys are saying. I'm just saying from what I'm reading. Let me go back to it right quick. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Oh, man. So, I thought they said the result was significant. The questions are significant, Kimberly McNeil. The questions they have are very significant because they don't have the answers. They can't answer the body. And I think if you guys read it, again, thank you, just me, Douglas. Like, again, I'm not questioning. Everybody reads it differently. Hey, beautifully healed. Everybody, hey, Chris. Everybody's, when you're reading it, I'm not reading to argue. I'm not reading to say that you're wrong. What I'm reading is to my understanding. From what I understand, they have several questions that they're asking the Mississippi, and which I am so glad they are asking them. Y'all did this to the body, then we need these answers. Y'all sent me a body without these body parts. So that means that you removed these body parts for a reason. Then I want the answers. So this is significant, right? If you move these, Mississippi medical examiner, you remove these body parts. I didn't get these body parts. Then if you remove them for a reason. Then I need to know what was the stomach content because you removed that organ. I need to know what was toxology because you removed the liver and whatever I can do a toxology. And I need to know with any bleeding. So they did something. And when Washington D.C. got the body, it was already completely fully the body was decomposed to a point where they couldn't really do a better examination. They admitted to that. They got a decomposed body that limited their investigation. Right? They got a decomposed body that was so decomposed that they admitted, the Washington D.C. admitted, we couldn't do a fully. We have a question. What is that discoloration on his back and behind his ear? You had the body. They're questioning this discoloration. My thing is, when I think about a wide space of discoloration, I'm not a medical examiner. My thing is, when I think of discoloration based on my experience and investigation, and I could be completely wrong, discoloration tells me that that body was on its back. And that's where levotis, I can't remember the word, levotis, anybody can say it right now, I can't. Discoloration, and if you remember, I can't remember the full term of it, haven't used it in years. That tells me that body was on its back, and then you can tell when a body's moved because that's because coloration is going to be there. So when you move the body, another area may be discolored. So I don't know. We know that that body was on that boat. We know that he was on that boat, and we know that boat stopped several places. Okay, I heard he was found on his face. Okay, if he was found on his, well, he's in the water now. Okay, they found him probably washed up or in the water. I don't know, but we know he was found off the coast somewhere in the water. So I don't know how found on his face, but if he died on a land first, that would prove the discoloration. Y'all understand what I'm saying? If he drowned, then they wouldn't have that discoloration on his back. So what I'm saying, did he die on land or on that boat? And that's where the discoloration came from? And then they put him in the water? Huh? Y'all see where I'm going? Was the discoloration because he was on his back and then he was placed in the water? Y'all see? Hey, but maybe he was found in the water. Can't trust the. Maybe he wasn't found, but we gotta go with what we have. Maybe he wasn't found in the water. Gotta go with what we have, right? If they're stating he was found in the water, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go. So let's say do the investigation. If you're telling me he was found in the water, I'm gonna go with that. But I have a question. Why is there discoloration on his back? We could find him in the water, but where did he die? Where did he die? I know you got him out of the water, but where did death take place? Even if he found face down in the water, the discoloration on his back is the question. Is it? Now, I'm not sure if the doctor, medical examiner said it was, he's questioning where's the color on his back coming from? Where is that? Is that some type of, what happened to his back? Did it happen after they found the body? Or is discoloration happen? Only thing when I think of discoloration, I'm thinking of, let me see if before this thing dies. God, I used to know all these terms here. I used to know all this terms. Give me a second, y'all. I used to know this stuff here. The word I'm using is livor mortis. Its gravity causes the blood to settle in the lowest part of the body because the heart is no longer pumping. Okay? Livor mortis, right? Livor mortis. That is when the blood settles on the lower parts of the body. So if I fall on my side and I die on my side, livor mortis, the blood's going to settle on my side. That's when my blood start pumping. Discoloration is going to come there. If I move that body and put it someplace else, there's going to be discoloration somewhere else, right? But the deepest color is going to come from that liberty. Yes, that's what we're talking about. Livor mortis, also known as postmortem lividity or hypostasis. I know this as livor mortis. If someone is lying on their back, the discoloration typically means on the back, buttock, back of the arms, and back of the legs. What happened? Okay, if they're lying face up, it appears in the front of the body, right? Areas where the body is pressed firmly against a surface, such as the shoulder blade or the buttocks, against a hard floor. It begins 30 minutes to 2 hours after death. Okay. Livor mortis sets in 30 minutes. So Was that body somewhere else? If that's what it is, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but if that's his throat was not with him, they took the throat out during the first medical examination. Now, again, remember, I also told y'all this. When that body sits in the water for a number of days, and I don't know if this happened, Chris, when that body sits in hot water, I told y'all what animals eat at that body. Okay? They eat at that body. Crabs, big fish, whatever is in that ocean is eating that body. And the longer that body stays in that water and the hottest that water is, that body is going to deteriorate quickly and things are going to eat at it. We find, if y'all ever want to know what a body looks like being doing a drowning, and God forbid, there's no ears, eyes, mouth, lips, mouth area, lips, neck, everything, y'all. The body is the body was decomposed and deteriorated in that hot water. I don't know how hot that water was, how warm that water was in the Gulf or wherever homes with Mississippi. I'm thinking of Mississippi, whatever. How that body deteriorates and it breaks down. Thank you, Tess, for the floating heart. If they take the throat out, the medical examiner report from Mississippi is going to show what parts that removed, because they're saying that the medical examiner in Mississippi, when they got the body, parts were missing. Standard procedure, moving the throat and the stomach and the organs. Mississippi medical examiner should have questions, and this is why the Washington D.C. Medical examiner says, I want to know, because these organs are not here, I want these questions answered. What was the stomach content? Because that's going to tell you the time, that's giving them a time of death because of the digestive system. If he died, what was in his stomach? What was in his throat? What was his throat? What was his throat condition? Because that's area to tell if he drowned. Because guess what? If he died before he was in that water, guess what? Water is going to be in that throat. Water is going to be in that throat. Okay? But it wasn't always standard procedure to fully transport a body. This is but isn't it always standard procedure to fully transport a body? I'm kind of trying to misunderstand it. So that's why he wants to know the stomach content and if water was in that lungs. What was his lungs like? Because if he died before he was in that drowning, ain't no water going. Hey, guess what? They're going to find water in those lungs in that throat. Okay, he's not inhaling anything. He's not breathing. He's not taking in water, y'all. He's dead. So we need to know what his lungs look like. We need to know what his digestive system looked like. Where was the food in his stomach? What did y'all find? Because we trying to find the time of death. So disturbing, right? Hey, don't do me. So a lot of the questions, the medical examiner from Washington, D.C. is asking the right questions. Because if y'all got the body, y'all first, y'all need to have these answers. But isn't it always standard procedure to fully transport a body? They did transport the body. Mississippi medical examiner got the body first. And the family didn't get it quick enough before they started their exam. The family got the Washington, D.C. medical examiner didn't get, the body was more decomposed and it was already taken apart by Mississippi examiner, and also what happened in the ocean as well. Remember, he was in that ocean for a couple of days. Does local authority or not hardly doing anything? No, they didn't. That is the question. Is I'm asking, is STEM to partially transport the remains of the body in the effort to conduct a second autopsy? That's what I'm not. Okay, I don't understand that as well. I don't know that procedure. I can't answer that. I don't even know that one, Chris. I can't even begin to answer how they move, how the procedure goes to move the body to one examiner. My thing was, I don't even know, Chris. I can't even begin to answer that question. I wish I could. It's so many questions that starts before anybody did anything, and the officers, the investigator, determined that it was a drowning before anything. There was no questions asked. They immediately said it was a drowning. Okay, so the what I'm thinking, the what's the word I want to use? Uh, the timing. Once the law enforcement said it was a drowning, everything stopped. Right? There was no exigent circumstances. I want to make sure I'm using the right word. Where we got to act now to get information. None of that happened. None of the extent. Uh, the no speed. Nothing happened to say let's get this information. Nothing happened to prevent people from getting their stories together. There was no questions being asked about it. So people were allowed to get things taken care of, right? So if I'm not acting under exigent, under circumstances that we need to get information as quick as possible for people to start deleting stuff, getting their story together, that didn't happen in this case because the immediate answer was he drowned. Even though somebody would say, well, why didn't they notify the parents if they called the Coast Guard? Nothing suspicious. No suspicion arise from anybody. The sheriff department said it was a drowning and it immediately shut down to a drowning. Exigent circumstances, getting information, securing the phones did not happen. We saw something different in Nolan. In We saw something different in Kamala Anthony's case. Phones were checked. Though things changed during the court proceeding, people's phones were checked. People were questioned. People were questioned. Nobody said, even as a drowning, hundred of people around, no people watching. What happened during the drowning? Did anybody see? Nobody got questioned to say, okay, they say it was a drowning. Nobody said, well, wait a minute. No, when did somebody call the Coast Guard? Nobody called the Coast Guard to the evening. We need to find out why nobody called the Coast Guard until later that evening. Well, we got questions. If he's on the boat, why y'all got his phone and his keys? Because I got a child. My child, see, the questions would come to our minds as reasonable people, as a reasonable person would be, I got a teen. My teen would never, even as a law enforcement officer, I got a teen. My teen ain't gonna leave no damn phone behind. I know my teen. They'll die before the world will stop for my teen if they don't have their phone or their car keys. None of these things came into question. And who told the boat if it wasn't the company? Who told the boat? The boat automatically started working again. They got help. The boat, I believe, if I read it correctly, Chris, the boat was told, then the boat working, the boat wasn't working. The boat went from this area to that place to that place. There's so many questions about the places that boat went, okay? After it left Horn Island at 4:31, that boat made a whole lot of stops. The question is, Nolan Wells was on that boat. That team will not will not leave his phone. He's not going to leave his phone. They had the car keys. He had the phone. He was on his boat with his personal items. Okay? Okay? He was on the boat with his personal items. What happened to Nolan Wells? Why y'all got his phone? If y'all called the Coast Guard, why didn't y'all contact his family and said, hey, we called the Coast Guard. I got his phone. I got his car keys. Why the family had to track down all his personal items? There was no urgency taken in this case to say, let's talk to some people to secure whatever evidence. Nobody's being accused. We just need to ask some questions. That's the least they could have done. The least they could have done is ask the people, his friends, that same evening or immediately Bef- y'all had his phone. What happened? Why y'all deleting y'all phone social media? I got a report that y'all deleting y'all social media. Nothing. Nothing. That's crazy. Nobody question, not even the least bit of gut feelings, okay? The one thing, and you tell me, all those officers, no one's got kind of like said, maybe I need to look into this a little bit. Well, Sarge, we need to look into this. I got a gut feel. I just want to talk to somebody. Nobody, nothing twinged in nobody's head. Cause see, that's why my personality gets me to question things sometimes. That analytical part of me, you just can't come tell me anything. Because I'm going to be thinking. So you mean to tell me nothing, no spidey senses went off and not one police, and I guarantee it did, but they got shut down. I am guarantee you a officer on that law, on that police force said, Sarge, Lieutenant, let me look at this something. They said, no, we just dismissing it. Something tells me there's somebody there with spotty senses and they got shut down. Okay? You're not going to tell me there's not an officer on that force that do not have them spidey senses, those gut feelings like we need to look into this a little bit more. Okay? Anybody with that type of those type of senses would like, that don't seem right. Okay? Why would they have his phone and his keys? I got a teen, and I know for a fact my teen would never leave, be separated. The same thing that you would give, the attention you would give for your child, that child should have got the same thing. The same questions you would have for your child, I would have for somebody else's child, right? Me too. I got questions, says Chris. Can we get a press conference from them? They don't circle the wagons. Whatever you get now has already been done, handled. But only people going to handle these questions now are the public. What's the people that handle their? Y'all forgive me for the things names I can't remember. Once things like this start to happen, the answers have already been written down. There's only one person that's going to be speaking for the sheriff department. Is either going to be the sheriff, the designated detective, or the spokesperson for the department. You mean getting that's it. Anything you get down, the wagons have been circled. You're not going to get anything on a press conference. You'll get the media asking the questions that we want to be answered, but what you're going to get is those prefab answers, and they know how to answer now. And you're not going to get anything just in case this case do go legal in some other kind of way. The mother and father are handling this so great. If God have to know God to go through this, most definitely, Kimberly McNeil, they are asking the questions that any parent would want to have. They don't have to accept the fact, because I wouldn't accept the things if I know my son's phone was on that boat and his keys, and I had to track. Once I had to track down my son's keys and phone, you can't answer any questions for me. Once I had to go through, you cannot satisfy me now with anything, because when certain questions come up, why y'all deleting your phone? Why is my son's phone deleted? You can't. There is no sitting down. Y'all gonna have to bring God down here himself to tell me. But again, this mother and father are not going there. Once they're satisfied, they'll be satisfied. Until then, they have right to ask every question there is. Like I said, the saddest thing the other day, was watching this mother walk behind her son's casket. Broke my heart. I had to turn it off. I can't. Broke my heart. Their actions make them guilty. Right, me too. So hey, Chris, I think at this point they are transparent. Or they are transparent. All they say do is questionable. Most definitely. I mean, people are going to have questions now. If those are Nolan friends, like they say, why didn't they tell the mother they had his belonging? Again, I believe that they're all their friends, but I think adults got involved. I think these kids do what kids do. If something happened, these kids, I believe, was his friends. But unlike something may have happened to cause a fight, and I believe these kids, they panicked If they did something, they panicked, they got in contact with an adult, and an adult set things in motion. This is just my feelings. This is allegedly my opinion. This is not facts. I believe these are his friends. I don't think his parents believed that they were his friends as well. I believe these kids contacted adults, got involved. Um, Adults got involved, and these kids are now shut down. They're given instructions and what to do and what not to say and how to act. What's those driver's licenses, butter cookies? The truth is, it's been happening since the beginning. George Washington made dentures from slave teeth. Well, yeah, that's fake friends, says Kimmy Meal. Could be fake friends. Uh, but I'm thinking, now they may be, I mean, they give the parents a fake friend because nobody's stepping up for Nolan. Nobody's saying this happened. So, yes, it gives the appearance of fake friends or scared friend or really, it gives that appearance. Oh, y'all really his friends. Tell his family what happened. So it does give the appearance that are they really friends or are they really scared? Because when an adult starts to get involved, it can turn into something very ugly. Not that it matters, but hopefully it will. We, like I said, the historical data on law enforcement handling certain cases has always been questionable. We've seen it. How urgency is not taken in certain cases, and that's always been a question, especially in the South, unfortunately. Okay, that has always can't dismiss that. You know, I don't. I honestly, in my opinion, I don't think. I think the again, I'm gonna say it. I think when people think a lot, well, I can't say everybody. My question about how the case was handled. That's my question. I don't like the way the case was handled. I think once certain questions start to happen, I think everything should have been handled like we're just asking questions. You're not, this is just questions, standard questions we want to have for the parents. People should have been brought into the house, should have been visited. You didn't have to go pick them up. Now, most people said in many cases that if it was reversed, if the boys were black friends and he was white, people said that the black boys would have been picked up and brought down to the station. That's some people's belief. My thing is, even if you didn't pick anybody up, go out to the house and talk to them. It don't have to be accusations. It's that we just want to see what happened. Let's do the least and just go see. Let's go talk to the boys. Just to see what happened. Okay? Because like Kamalo Anthony, the initial statements that they got from these kids changed once the prosecutor got to them. Once they gave the initial statement at the heat of the moment and what was happening, they gave their initial statements, how they felt about Kamalo and this and that about him, and all of a sudden, once the prosecutor and once the adults got involved, their feelings and statement changed. Okay, how they felt about Kamalo, what they thought about Kamalo, what they first observed, even law enforcement. Everything that was first observed and stated changed during the testimony on trial. The feelings changed, how he looked changed, what he thought about him changed, all that changed. So this can also be this is where Kamalo Anthony's defense attorney failed. Because I need to understand why y'all I would have object. Why y'all statements, wait a minute, why is this being allowed? This is what, his initial attorneys missed so many opportunities to make a strong case he should have been objecting out the yin yang. So this is why I look at his case, Nolan Wells' case, and go, no questions, nobody went to the house and just talked to the parents, talked to the boys. We just won't say drowning and in front of 100 people at the Horn Island. Nobody jumped. Did anybody jump in and try to save him? If he went into the water, did y'all, well, people said he got back on the boat. I need to go question because somebody said he got back on the boat and somebody said he didn't. And so many missed opportunities. Um, but again, prayer for Nolan Wells' family that they get the answers, and if they don't get the answers, they find peace. Right? Somehow they find peace because we don't know what's going to happen. We just don't know. So what matters now? This is going to be hard for them, and we just pray that God brings them a peace at some point where they'll be able to just continue to know that they love their son loved them, and you know they did all they could do, right? They did everything a parent could do to make sure that Nolan Wells got answers, and if they don't get the answers, they know they did their best. They did everything they could do. That's what I hope for them, that they get the peace that they need, even if they don't get all the answers, because it's going to be hard. This is a hard one. Y'all hit the like button. I got 35 people listening in for the past 30 seconds, at least a minute. Can y'all hit the like button? Fake friends are real enemies. Sometimes, Chris. I mean, by the cookie, seen that before. uh, you know, I appreciate if y'all hit that like button. Don't leave. Hit the like button. Just tap the screen 2 times, and it's gonna hurt you. The conversation is nice. You don't have to agree with me. I don't. I'm not 100% right. Hey, coffee no cream. I'm not 100%. This is my nothing here. I said, based most of the things I say is based on my opinion. Other things I read is what is happening within the case. But I just have opinions, and it may be different from yours, and yours will be different from mine. There's no right or wrong. We're just talking on our feelings and our opinions, right? That's all we're doing. Um, so, but just praying that the thank you guys for the 390. Who did the 399? I'm talking so much. I didn't even see the money come through, all the gifts come through. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. I'm talking. Now, Nolan Wells, we talked about that case. Somebody asked me to talk about another case out of St. Louis, South Chicago. Happened about 7 days ago. A teen boy and a 15-year-old girl. 15, and I think, how old is he? 16? He's 16, and she's 15. If he'd been 17, he would have been locked up for. They could have put him in jail in Illinois at 17 if he was having sexual relations with this girl and she was 15. He could have been in jail. But he's 16, so he's a minor as well. But they're going to charge him as an adult. Thank you, Butter Cookie. Not a problem. St. Louis, Miss Illinois. Is it St. Louis, Illinois? Yes. Um, we had a case 7 days ago, I believe. 15-year-old daughter. 15-year-old daughter, and I believe the boy was 16, if I'm correct. Let me pull it up here. They unalived several people in Illinois. Let me see if I can get it up. Let me give y'all. The girl was 15 and the boy was 16, so he was still a minor. He got charged as an adult. His name is Jameer Davis. Because they immediately charged him as an adult, they gave his name. The little girl's name has not been revealed yet because they can't do it because she's a minor, she's 15. The victims are Patricia A. May, 74, that's her grandmother. Cheryl May, 49. David May, 24. Sharia Thompson, 25. And Quintine L. Thompson, 21. These are her sisters. Sharia, Quintin are her sisters. They're siblings, right? So let me make sure. Let me get this information out before my pad dies. Cheryl May was allegedly killed first sometime around July 5th. So these killings happened over several days. Sister and brothers. Okay, thank you, Coffee No Cream. Sisters and brothers. Cheryl May, 49, was killed sometime between July 5th and July 7th. Patricia May, the grandmother, and Devin May were allegedly killed around July 11th and 12th. On Sunday, July 12th, Quentin Thompson, 21, and Shania Thompson, 25, were killed, while Tiffany Thompson and her mother was shot and survived. Her mother was shot as well 4 times. Um, so Patricia May is the grandmother. Devin May is her cousin. Sherry May, 49, is her aunt. So, yeah. So Sherry May, the aunt, was 49. And Devin May was her son. And he was 24. He was the cousin. Sherry May, 49, was her aunt. Patricia was the grandmother, 74. They were found 400 block of North 6th Street, at the Samuel Grumper's homes. They took apparently they took 5 of the family members to Jones Park and opened fire on or near a vehicle. Quentin Thomas, 21, Shania Thomas, 25, Tiffany Thomas, a 15-year-old suspect mother, shot 4 times but survived. So Tiffany Thomas was shot 4 times and survived. That's the mother. Santosia Scott was shot in the face and back and survived. So her siblings were shot so she picked them up. Apparently, the 2 teens picked up the 5 family members and took them to Jones Park and shot them there, killing at least 3 of them, and 2 of them survived. This is crazy. This is crazy. They used a stolen 9mm handgun. They had a stolen handgun. They was also accused of cutting off Patricia May's right thumb after her death. What? Reportedly, the attempt to access her phone. Those allegations have not been yet proven. Apparently, Davis, the boyfriend, cut off Patricia May's thumb to access her. This is something he saw on TV. See, this is what TV does, right? Because I've seen that happen on TV before, on movies as well. He cut off her thumb. Patricia May's. He cut off the grandmother's thumb to get into her cell phone. The son of a... And he can't face the death penalty as well. Apparently, her thumb was in the car. What the F? What the F? Yeah. So, apparently, they were having trouble with this 15-year-old child anyway. This child was being homeschooled. She wasn't getting in trouble all the time. She was a problem. They wanted them separated. They didn't want them together, and this is why this probably happened, because they were homeschooling her. They wanted to separate them, and this is what happened. They killed the entire family, attempt and killed the entire family, the immediate family, in order to be together. Okay, yes, I watched a YouTube video yesterday. Ages 16 and 15. The boy is 16. The girl is 15. The boy has already been charged as an adult. 5 counts of felony. 5 counts of. Let me see what he got. I forgot the charges. He got 5 counts of. He got several felony charges. Minimum. Hold up. Go back. Where was I? He has okay. I see the charges. If anybody know the charges, put it in there before I can. Okay, so he cut off the thumb. I'm trying to find the charges. Uh, oh shoot. Let's see. Um, so these attacks were planned. So we got premeditated murder. Uh, so these were planned murders. This wasn't something, and they killed several days. The the so these were targeted and planned. Uh, and these are just alleged areas where the family was found. If y'all got things different, and I'm just trying to find the charges. Hey, Juicy Fruit, what's up? Hey, T Hall, what's going on? Oh, I gotta look at the mess up my God today. Um, I'm trying to find the charges. Let's see. Let me look here if I can find the charges here. Um, no, I'm not paying to read that. Okay, I'm trying to find charges. Let's see. Oh my God, I'm looking at the victims. Um, can I find the charges? She's 15. I think there is some type of this. I didn't know this about this. Yeah, Candy. This is St. Louis, Illinois. Okay, so Davis, as an adult, faces 5 counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and other felonies. The 15-year-old girl is initially being handled through juvenile court. They're going to probably to um, move her to an adult. I don't see her. I don't see her remaining as an adult. But what I do see happening, based on prior behavior, they may move on mental illness. Right? They may move on some type of, for her 15 and her allegedly or described as having severe behavior problems, to the point that they had to take her out of school and everything. Is there some type of mental illness involved here with this 15-year-old? Is there a diagnosis? Has she gotten to therapy? They're going to look at this. Because if there's any history of therapy, mental illness, this could be different for her. Okay? This could be one kind of firearm, one kind of vehicle hijacking. Okay, thank you, Coffee. 12 charges so far. Okay, thank you, Coffee. 2 account of aggressive battery. If this was and kidnapping. Now, if they move, I don't think they move anybody across county lines. I mean, state lines, because it would turn federal, and then we would have kidnapping, and then we would have, hopefully, but I don't know if they would give a 16-year-old, because the federal, Illinois does not have the death penalty, but that's federally, right? It was a federal charge. Illinois does have that particular at the federal level, but not at the state level. But I don't think we have any federal charges. We could. I'm not sure, but he's a child. So he's most likely going to face the rest of his life in prison. The 15-year-old, I don't know if they're going vehicle hijacking. I don't even understand how they allow him to live in the house. Wait a minute, he was living with them? They were trying to separate them. How in the heck was he living with them? He was living with them? Why is he living with them? Now, I didn't read that. How in the heck is he living with them? Wow. No, I didn't read that. Now, that's a mistake. My understanding, okay. Only kicked him out after stealing. Oh, they kicked him out after stealing the weapon. Yes, he was living with them. So, wait a minute. Hold up. They were allowing the boyfriend at 16 to live, but are there relations? I mean, okay, apparently the 16-year-old, 15-year-old boyfriend and girlfriend, was he living in the same house with the girl? Oh my God. Well, well, well. Oh, so the boy wanted to stay with them and they wanted him out of the house. And so, in retaliation, what? Okay. And my understanding reading is that the girl was definitely trying to kill her mother because the only reason, after shooting her mother 3 times, the only reason her mother is still alive today is because she ran out of bullets. Y'all read that? The only reason the boy is talking. The boy is accusing the girl of doing the shooting, right? So the boys describe the shooting as the girl slid over her mother body, over her mother, shot her 3 times, 4 times already, and the only reason her mother is still alive is because the girl ran out of bullets. Thank you, Simply Red, 21 months with the Justice League, Justice Reacts channel. Thank you. And thank you for the flower. I appreciate that. That is crazy, y'all. So they got this boy living in the house with them. So they were trying to appease this little girl anyway. Thank you, Candy Jones, for the 13 months. Much appreciated. Thank y'all for that support. The father was on the hit list, but they ran out of bullets. Good God Almighty. So they were going to take out the whole family. So, oh my God. So they were trying to calm. So I guess they wanted to try to calm the girl down, try to appease her by letting the boy stay there because she was such hell. See, when he ran out of bullets, he told the mother, I'm going to let you live today. Also, he told the mother that, okay, the father, what, y'all? If there is a time, now, this is a good thing right here. Remember how we talk about what does forgiveness look like in this situation? I'm going to throw it out here. What does forgiveness look like in this situation? Do you think there's going to be immediate forgiveness, or you think it's something people got to work on? They were going after everyone that's against them. Wow. I have a question. We talked about forgiveness a lot in the past few days. If y'all were following me and Gamma and myself, what does forgiveness look like in this situation? Does it? Somebody said immediate. Is it going to be immediate forgiveness? Is something that you got to work on? Is this going to be something? Everybody may feel different right now, but me, honestly, at this point, knowing that forgiveness, woo wee, because right now, as a human, I would want. I've been here much. Yeah, Candy, you've been here. But I had a badge for the correct time. Yeah. Sometimes whenever it disconnects, I know you've been here a long time. Sometimes the badges come up the right way, and sometimes it don't. But I know you've been here. I know you've been here. Me too. They were going after everyone that was running against them. Yeah, they probably will. But she was her dad's only child. He said he can't forgive. He can't forgive. He lost his mama, sister, and other. You know what? That's where he's at right now. And can't even judge him because that's where he is. Will forgiveness come later? Maybe after he has processed. Maybe it may come. I don't know. It may come and may never come. But this is where he is, and no judgment, because I don't know. Because me personally, my feelings as a human being, oh yeah, I want somebody strung up. I want blood for blood at this time. I know as a human being, blood for blood, blood and blood. This, you know. Oh, I know I'm human. Ain't no way, Lord, forgive me. But if my child tries to kill me and my children, from juicy fruit, let me tell you, we don't know. You say girl, imagine if that mother had a way to protect her family. Imagine if that father had a way to protect his family. If he had knew, he would have to make that ultimate choice. Lord, forgive me. That's who had to forgive me. Because no, y'all, as a human being, I know, but I feel for this father. I feel for this father because I don't know what I would do in that situation. I know the immediate thing would want revenge. Okay? Lord, forgive me as well because I know the immediate thing I want blood. And you could, and that's the thing. That's what we talked about. Even if you choose to forgive, that doesn't give you access ever again. Even if I did choose to forgive this child, my child, and my child did this, that I forgive you eventually if I get to that point, but will I ever want to deal with you again? Lord only knows. Because at that point, I couldn't even look at you. I can forgive you, but I can never trust you again. I could never, and that may take time. I could never trust you because I don't know what I would do to you myself. One day I look up and just look at you one day. You know what I'm saying? I could be at a point where I may have forgiven you and I get up one day and I just look at you and shit, something may snap. And I don't know, for your safety and my safety, you need to be way over there. You understand me? You need to be all the way over there. For, you know, if you just need to be out of my sight, out of my mind. If I come to forgiveness, that don't mean you will ever have access to me again. Life is so full of swift transition. Why does life have to be so hard, Justice? I wish I had the answers. But we know God is in charge. And we know wherever God leads his family, Nolan Wells' family, and Anthony, Kamalo Anthony's family, and now this father and his family. That's a lot. That's a lot. And this is why, Lord knows, we got to stay prayed up. I'm glad I didn't know them, but it still hurts, says Coffee. You know, it's just, we just don't know. I just know for me, personally, I can say for me that if that, I just can imagine the father and no, can't even judge him, can't even be mad at him. Because if he's not, we know forgiveness, but if he's not there yet, y'all hold for a minute. So very unnecessary. Yeah, we just have to trust God. That's all we can. That's all we can do, Coffee. Because this is a lot of emotions. This man lost his entire family by his hands of his own child, by his own blood. And you could imagine, you know, I just can't imagine he lost all his kids, his mother, his, I mean, she wiped out generations to come. And this is by his own blood, his only child, and he has to look at her and know that that's my blood did this to me, took my mama, my kids. You can't ask that man to feel something right now. He's numb. He has to be numb and confused and hurt and just, what could I have done? Think about the survivor remorse, y'all. She was coming for him and he survived. Think about the mother who has to survive this. Think about her mother who have to survive this. Her kids are gone. The mother, not only does the father have to survive this, the mother's going to have severe probably God bless them, God pray for them, that she's not even, just imagine the traumatic emotional damage did to all these people that are still living. We pray for the dead, but look at who survived. And his mom, his sister, and his sister's kids and cousin. Thank you, Coffee No Cream. The devil is busy, bad spirit roaming around. Yes. And to hold that much discontent to want to take out your entire family because y'all want to be together, there's something more there than just that. I believe the child, the 15-year-old, has some problems. And hopefully it's documented that she was getting mental health some type of treatment. Because apparently she was having problems in school. There's some type of problem there. We know definitely, I don't know if there is any diagnosis on this child. Definitely for, what is the word I'm thinking for? Oh my God, all these terms I don't use anymore, and I should. Um, I'm pretty sure if anybody ever uh, had any treatment, um, and y'all help me out here. Um, Let me see. Let's see what I'm looking for. I hadn't used this in a minute here. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. ODD. I just want to know if there is any oppositional defiant disorder. I want to know if there's ODD. And with that type, does she have a diagnosis? Has she been diagnosed uh, with some type of disorder? And I would think mainly ODD. So don't know. Uh, Oh yes, definitely mental illness going on, and I'm thinking even with the school psychologist, or maybe there's something there with that 15-year-old that they had to take her out of school because her behavior was so bad that they had to take her out of school. So that means we can tell right here that definitely don't like authority. Definitely can't be told what to do. Uh, Arguing with parents, teachers, or others authority figures, frequent anger, irritability, refusing to follow rules or requests, deliberately annoying others, blaming others for their own mistake, being spiteful and vindictive. Lasts at least 6 months. Typically occur around for a child's age, cause significant problems at home, school, or with peers. What causes ODD? Genetic and temperament, difference in brain development or functions, family stress, inconsistent discipline, trauma or adverse childhood experience, other conditions such as ADHD, anxiety, depression, learning disorder, which is commonly occur with this. Won't work. It was playing. Even though you're right in many cases, but you also again you got to take into account they're going to look at her as 15 first, right? And they're going to take into account even though it was planned, the boy may be. That's why the boy has been charged immediately. This 15-year-old has a history. And if there's a history of mental health, was there a cause of her behavior? Did she take in consideration? Was there mental breakdown somewhere along the line? So all this is going to be, trust me, she's going to get an attorney. They're going to give her an attorney. And definitely mental illness will play a part in that defense. Even though she knew what she was doing over 3 days, you best believe her attorney is going to bring in mental illness. They're going to bring in her behavior. They're going to bring in her history. Even though we know it was planned, her defense is going to be based on her age and her mental health. Okay, her age, that's going to be the defense. Even though it's over 3 days, the prosecutor is going to make that argument on being deliberate. Her defense is going to come in with her age the influence of the boy, and also um, her mental health if there's a history. Now she won't have. Yeah, she gonna have to listen to somebody tell her get up, go to bed, eat this, eat that. She ain't gonna have no more choices anymore. You gonna be told when to go to bed. You gonna be told when to get up. So you think you didn't have no freedom? Y'all think y'all didn't have no freedom? Imagine for the rest of your life somebody telling you when to go turn lights out, lights off, lights on, get up, go here, go there. A public defender cause ain't no family gonna get a paid lawyer, nobody left. That's true. She gonna get a public defender. I agree that, but I hope there's a loophole to charge her. They're gonna charge her. I truly believe that the state prosecutor, they're looking at it, they're making sure. But I believe if a mental health issue does not come involved, I believe that the prosecutor has enough to charge her. They just got to move with this thing. They just got to put this case as delicate because it's a minor. Now we also looking at, all right, the difference is, whoa, money in this case is just how she's going to plead. If she has to plead, what is the plea? If they put in a case, if they once the prosecutor files the case against her, once they have established what type of case they're going to bring against her, they're going, you know, they're making sure they get the prosecutors making sure they got their T's crossed and they everything just right when they bring this case against this girl. That's it, because it's going to be hard. They're bringing a strong case against a 15-year-old. They're checking her mental health. Right now, they're pulling all her school records. Before they make these charges, they're bringing her school records. If she's having mental health, they're calling the hospitals. They're checking with her psychiatrist. They're checking for medications. They're checking her if there's a they're pulling everything together before they make these charges. She won't last in July either. Somebody will challenge her the way incarceration set up in 2026. She won't last. Some of these dang old kids in their class just like her. A lot of these kids that are incarcerated today are just like her. And some of these kids are not even scared, y'all. Her match is waiting, says coffee, no cream. Lock them up and throw away the keys, says T Hall. Oh yeah, I do believe they need to be put away for the rest of their life. My argument, get them some help. But they do not need to walk. Get them some help. Restoration, get them some help. Get both of them help. Get them some help. Get them all the help they need. But do they need to walk in this society again? No. Do they need to be among our society again free? No. At this time, I say no. But get them all the help they need, all the treatment they need, all the education they need. Let's get them there. They can be behind bars for the rest of their natural life until then. Okay? That's how I feel today. Let them sit behind bars for the rest of their natural life and get them all the help they need. They can become A1, prison, let them get to the good prison standards where they get all the good things, where they get all the because that's what they're going to be. Or they're going to be taken out. Who knows? Yeah. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I'm not. I feel so strong. I feel for the father, man. I feel for the mom and the family members that are left that have to deal with this. This thing that was brought upon them. But why was this child living? Where's this 15, 16-year-old parents? Where's his parents? Where's this monster's parents? They had the audacity to cut the finger off the grandmother. Where is this monster parents? And yes, I'm calling him a monster. You cut the finger off to open her phone? That's when watching playing too many video games and watching too much TV. A true monster. A true monster. And if you guys want to remember, I have my goals set. I got 2 so far. If y'all want to help me get to 5 or whatever, I appreciate any support. Thank y'all so much. I have to cut this off. This is crazy. Y'all have a great day. Okay. One moment, y'all. I'm sorry, you had to get something to drink right quick. T Hall says sickening. Yeah, Kimberly McNeil, I understand. It is hard. Sometimes you have to pull back on the story here. But that little boy is such, they're both monsters. Coffee No Cream, thank you, Coffee No Cream, for the star and the 100. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Um, so, yeah, it's just sad, y'all. It's just sad that, it got to this point. You got to be careful who you allow in your house. These kids, um, they allowed this boy to come into their home um, to live with them, and and then when they wanted to separate them, they did this madness, and and together. I mean, they sat there, planned and plotted. We're gonna take them to the park. So just to, hey Sherry Lewis, know that they put their mom and several other and siblings in a car. She got her siblings, her mom, in the car and unalived them and took them to another, which again is that kidnapping. Moving one person from, did they move them with their own will? Did they take them under? I want to know if they did this, because this could be kidnapping, even though it wasn't cross state lines. It's still kidnapping, right? That could be the aggravated factor. Did the family get in the car knowing that they're thinking that Jefferson was going to the park, or did they take the family to this park under duress? Did they use the gun to make the family get in the car? Because that's another felony. That's kidnapping. So if the mother can tell the story, were y'all forced to get in the car and take and move from one place to another? That is kidnapping. Sherry, we talking about the shooting of the daughter and her boyfriend, 15-year-old daughter, 17-year-old boyfriend, unaliving several family members over a span of time in St. Louis, Missouri, St. Louis, Illinois, several days ago. The tragic story of the girl, 15, her boyfriend, 16, unaliving several family members, and shooting the mother 4 times, and I guess another relative 3 times. Uh, this is sad. It's a sad situation. So, yeah. We talked about this. We talked about several things. We done talked about Nolan Wales. And, they lured the grandmother in the house. So they lured the grandmother in the house. Okay, Coffee No Cream. Wow. Wow. So they went to the apartment, right, for the grandmother. They went to some type of apartment complex or project, whatever you want to call it. This is all over the news. YouTube, Facebook. Uh, I source my news from Googling and getting different sources to make sure I kind of get, an alignment of the story together. But yes, this is all over the news. It might be because St. Louis is actually located in Missouri, but the county lines town is there, in Illinois. I think if this is it St. Louis is closest to the Mississippi. St. Louis, Illinois, I believe, is closer to the Mississippi. Is it Mississippi or Missouri? Is St. Louis closer to Mississippi or where is that located? Or Missouri? Y'all got it right. It might be Missouri. I don't know. Let me see. I don't even know, y'all. Is this closer to Missouri? St. Louis, Missouri? Anybody know what's this close to? Because it's actually located. We have St. Louis and East St. Louis. East Louis is in Illinois. So it's East St. Louis is in Illinois. Okay. So East St. Louis, is that closer to the Mississippi? Oh, Coffee says, I'm from there. Oh, okay. So Coffee No Cream, is that more south toward Mississippi? I don't know. Why I'm thinking going toward the Mississippi River or something. Is that closest to Missouri? Let me see something. I don't know. I don't know at all, y'all. So if y'all know, so where's that close to Coffee No Cream? Give me some idea where that's close to. Because I'm thinking Missouri as well. It's over. Oh, it's over the arch. So it's Missouri. Okay, it is Missouri. Okay, okay, it is Missouri. Okay, it is Missouri. All right. Wow, wow. But I'm 2 hours from home. Okay, it's Illinois, but it's in Illinois. Yeah, St. Louis is in Illinois. But what borders it? What state? And I'm thinking because you said the arch is it's Missouri, but it's in Illinois. Yeah, East St. Louis is in Illinois, but it borders the Missouri border. Is that what we're saying? That's what I'm asking. Because that's what I'm asking. Because I don't know. Yes. Okay. Got you. Got you. Because when you said the arch, I'm thinking that big arch, St. Louis, in Missouri, whatever. I'm thinking that big arch. Okay. Got you. Got you. Got you. You guys are coming in some big. And some of y'all typing, and I'm like, at Coffee No Cream. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for clarification. Yes, this is a sad story. Yet, like somebody said, there's so much going on in the world, and it's happening at such a fast pace. It's like every day is something going on, especially within our community, and that is something that we definitely have to definitely keep prayer about, keep our family safe, make sure that we are doing what we need to do because it's some evilness out here, and the devil is definitely walking, and all we can do is pray, and all we can do is just make sure we know what's going on in our family, and again, paying attention to these kids out here as well, because that's sad. Um, you know, were they threats made before? Why did they need to get in his phone? Why? The significant part is why did the boy need to get into the phone? Was he trying to get money? Was he trying to get her codes? Why did they say why he was trying to access the grandmother's phone? What was he looking for? The phone call? Did they think they were going to get away with this? Did they actually think that they were going to get away with this? What was he trying to get out of the phone? What did he want out of the grandmother's phone? Anybody know what he wanted out of the grandmother's phone? Mm, that's mm, probably trying to get her. That's what I'm thinking. T Hall, was he trying to get her bank information? Was he trying to get her passwords to her bank? Maybe. Maybe. That's why, like, look, I'm thinking, shoot, I got my phone locked with my fingerprint. Now I'm thinking these suckers gonna cut my finger off. What? What? So he cut the grandmother's finger off instead of taking the phone to her and putting her finger. He cut. Why would he cut the thumb off? Was he going to take the thumb to the? Where was he going to take the thumb to? Back to the house somewhere? I mean, this is why. This is why maybe to get. Does her apartment require a thumbprint to get into? Because or he gonna take the thumb back to where her phone is located. I don't know. But they found the thumb in the car. Thumb was passcode. Oh yeah, he used it on her phone. Yeah, to get into her bank. Cause all my everything I have is thumbprint and everything else. So he probably got into her phone, but needed to use the thumb to get into the bank information. Because once you get into the phone, you can use. People have their thumbprint on their bank account and everything else. So maybe that's where he wanted to go into her bank account. Yeah. Yeah, he wanted to get into her bank account. That's what I'm thinking. You're definitely right, because she probably had a thumb for. She accessed her bank account with her thumb, and that's what he wanted to do. Wow. If the death penalty was in play, if this kid was 1 year, 2 years older, 2 years older, death penalty would have been in play. Death penalty would have been in play. If there's any ruling for a death penalty, y'all, I'm sorry, this would be it right here. This would be it right here. That's the way I feel. You know, if this was any time for a death penalty case, and I don't know how everybody else feels, this would be it for me. Yeah, better somebody else do it. Because I know right now, the safest place for them right now would be jail. Okay, the safest place for them would be jail, because I'm pretty sure not only the father is mad, I'm thinking you got Pookie out there, JoJo, and everybody else gunning for them, okay? So the safest place for them for the rest of their life would probably be behind bars. And I ain't guaranteeing nothing behind that. But I think in the most safest place for them for the rest of their life would be under somebody's supervision. Okay? All right? Because trust me, the father is not the only one mad. The father is not the only one wanting, hey Kendra, how you doing? What's going on, Kendra Corner? Nice to see you. Yeah, I don't think I don't think there'd be a place for me personally. I don't think there would be a place that you could hide that I wouldn't try to find you. So your safest place would be behind bars, because yeah, for me personally, your best bet is that you want to be arrested and you want to be behind bars. That's what you want to be. You want to be in police custody. Calling Bay, trying to get over this sinus and just chilling. Bay trying to get over sinus infection. Wow. Well, I hope you feel better soon, Kendra. I hope you feel better. I did come by your channel the other day saying hello to you. But yeah. Feel better, Kendra says. Coffee no cream. Coffee no cream. Kendra says love. Yeah, but it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah. Mm-mm. I didn't see you, babe. I'm sorry. No, no problem, Kendra. No problem. T Hall says Kendra. Coffee no cream. T Hall says Kendra. So yeah, y'all, this is a tough one here. Again, thank you, Justice, for covering this one. No problem, coffee no cream. It's a tough one. It's a sad one. Um, and again, this is one of these stories that will, it reminds me of the young man in. Oh my God, this happened. Matter of fact, I went by his home, and that was in Illinois. This happened in Illinois as well. This happened where? Um, with a young man unalived his entire family and then went to did he go to Mississippi or Texas? Black male as well. He was a black male. He unalived his entire family at the house. Oh man, I used to where he was from was Jay. Coffee or cream. You remember that case about 3 years ago, maybe 3 years now? The young man that unalived his family and ran to Texas. Joliet. He was out of Joliet, Illinois. Another black male and unalived his family. I don't know why T Hall. I'm looking like I ain't blind no more. I can see these comments. Hell, they're so big they fill up my glasses. I'm not complaining. Joliet suburb Chicago. It was Joliet, Illinois, and I went up there to Uber. I had a call. I had an Uber up there. Had a ride up there, and she was right there. She says right here in the neighborhood, in Joliet, and she said right down the street from her, and she said the boy just again mental illness played a part in it as well. I'm not sure the outcome of that case. I wasn't sure about the outcome of that case, but he ran to Texas. I believe they found him in Texas. Um, I believe he ran to Texas and they extradited him and brought him back. But I believe he went to Texas, out of Joliet. I remember that story. Yeah, that was a few years ago. Romeo Nance. Okay, Romeo Nance. Yeah, that was about maybe what 2023, 2023, 2024. That could have been 2023, I believe. That could have been 2023. Yeah. You think it was 2024? Let me think. 2023. Man, yeah, it could have been 2024. I don't know why I'm thinking 2023, but it could, yeah, 2020. Wow, wait a minute, 2024? May 2024. Yeah. January I left in May. Mm. At CNC. Hey, Seredness, how you doing? He was unalived. Oh, he committed, did he commit, did he commit suicide? Did he unalive himself? He unalived himself. Did he unalive himself? Did he unalive himself? Yep, he unalived himself. I remember now. He did unalive himself. He did. He did unalive himself. And if I'm now remembering, he may have unalived himself in Texas. I don't think they got him back here. Did he unalive himself in Texas? Hey, Seredness, says Candy Jones. Did he unalive himself? He maybe never made it back here, right? So he may have unalived himself. Yeah, in Texas, he did. So now they didn't get him back here. He unalived. Now the case is coming back. He unalived himself in Texas. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Okay. Yeah, another sad case, young man. I know, and I believe there have been some mental illness diagnosis in that particular situation as well. Um, again, I think they're going to find that little girl may have had some type of. I don't know if they ever put her in the therapy. It looked like they were trying to appease her by letting the boy stay there. Maybe she was such a problem They were hoping that she would stop causing problem in the home, that they let him stay there. Maybe she made threats to them before, and they're like, just let him stay here. It looks like they were trying. It's gory, but I'm up on crime. Yeah, but I'm up on crime. I'm thinking, did they allow that boy to stay there because they were just scared of her? Did they become so afraid of her that they allowed that boy to stay there? Was this a part of trying to appease this little girl? See, this is sometimes when you got to make them damn decisions. You can't keep disturbing the peace in my home. So these are the times them hard decisions got to be made when it comes to your children, especially at that age, right? What do you do when somebody is causing that much problems to the point that you're afraid to make the proper decision that you want to allow this young man to come live in your home? Is that the story? No, I don't know. I'm just understanding. Why would they allow this little girl, 15-year-old boyfriend, but he's dating, feeling sorry. I can't, you are not coming in my house. Whatever going on in your life, you're not living with me as a 16-year-old trying to date my 15-year-old. No, we're going to get you some help. We're going to find you some assistance, some resources. Where your family at? Where's his family that, feeling sorry? You feel sorry somewhere else, but you ain't feeling sorry up under the roof of my child, 15-year-old child, and you 16? Yeah, I'm thinking, were they afraid of this child that they were trying to, she demanded and she made threats, and they're like, okay, just let him stay for a while. Just let him stay. We'll watch him and they won't let them do anything. Did they reason themselves out of good common damn sense? Did they reason themselves out of good common sense trying to appease her? Because guess what? We got to do something. Incorrigible, call the police, file incorrigible laws. If they got a law for incorrigible child that won't go to school, child, they got laws in that. They got laws for that as well. Incorrigible. You can't listen. You're not following rules. No, you don't want law enforcement in your child's life. No, you don't want to bring this in your child's life. But if that child is to a point where it leads to the whole family getting unalive, did they see signs? Well, maybe we got to get this child some help, and being in this home is not the place. Sometimes hard decisions got to be made. Because if this child to the point where they're threatening you and you ain't making good decisions, somebody got to get involved. And the best, we try to protect our kids to the best, but at the spite of your life, I don't know. I don't know what happened in that home that they made the decision to allow this boy to come live there anyway. Yes, you got to watch them real hard. And it cost them their lives. Because they put them, when they decided to separate them, they decided to unalive them. When they allowed this relationship to fester and build in their home, it cost them their life. It cost them their life because they were trying to help. They were trying to help. They wanted to protect. They wanted to appease the granddaughter and the daughter, the child. So let's let them live here. And then you try to take it back. Then you try to separate them. Now you're telling the boy he got to go because he stole the gun after allowing him to live there with your grandchild, with your daughter. You're going to now tell a child that has behavior problems, in my mind, may have a diagnosis already of ODD. At some point, you got to get law enforcement involved especially when we know he done stole the gun. Now he got the gun. Y'all know y'all kicked him out because he stole the gun and he came back and used the damn gun against y'all. Huh? The gun he stole, y'all put him out for a stolen gun. Didn't call the police. So he came back and used the stolen gun against y'all. Him and her stole the gun. Nobody called the police on him, right? Is there a police report made where he stole the weapon? And is that the weapon that he used against them? TL said, hey, Coffee Justice, listen in. Hey, Maisha, what's going on? Police report was made. Y'all know he had the gun. So police report was made that he stole the gun. Then he came back and used the weapon against them. She did. Because my understanding is that he's reporting that she is the one that shot her mother. And only reason the mother is still alive because they ran out of bullets. Oh, they knew about the hit list too. Okay. See, sometimes you got to make those hard decisions when somebody. Sometimes you got to make those hard decisions, especially if there's mental health involved. Sometimes you got to make those hard decisions. Sometimes the hardest decision is made through love. Some of the hardest decision that may be hurt may also be the strongest thing of love. Do y'all understand me? The hardest decision that sometimes have to be made for our kids that have problems is also the strongest part of showing love. It may be hard love, but it's also showing love. It may be having to get our kids the help they may need, have them say you have to, at some point we can't keep doing this. I can't. The strongest decision going to be made out of love as well. The toughest decision, the toughest love, and the strongest love is tough love. Sometimes the strongest love is that tough love because you're doing it out of love. You're doing it out of love. You have to get extra help in there. And sometimes it's just the hardest part for us is, as a people, is when we call for that extra help. Sometimes it don't. And that's why we hesitate to call for help when we got the hesitation in our community is that when we call for help, when mental illness is involved, it don't go right all the time. And that's sometimes the hesitation of calling for help on our children or our family members that have mental illness is that when we call, the results are not always, doesn't work out sometimes. And that's why people don't always want to call for their family members that are experiencing mental health situations, because when they call, sometimes the police come and don't understand the situation, don't understand what's going on, and then now we got a bigger problem, right? That unfortunately has caused for people not to get the help necessary. We're afraid that we don't want nobody calling and talking about us getting help for our family members. We worry about what the neighbor's going to say, what the family member's going to say if we do get law enforcement involved, if we do get mental health involved. It's so many factors that play a part of people not getting help when necessary for mental health reasons. And I do believe mental health is going to play a major part in this particular issue. And for my opinion, I do believe mental health is going to play a major part in this 15-year-old decision. I truly believe it was documented correctly, and that's what it cost some of their life. That's what I'm saying, Coffee No Cream. That is where the disconnect and the fear comes in, because so many people have witnessed calling for help to help their family members that are having a breakdown, off their meds, or having experiencing symptoms of their diagnosis, and they call for help. And because some of the officers are not trained on how to handle the situation, it gets blown up, and now you may have a loved one that is unalive or extremely hurt because someone doesn't know how to manage that symptom, right? This is why in many cases, crisis are called out to help assist in the matter. But sometimes does not happen in many cases when it involves African American. That patience, that understanding, that empathy doesn't always play over into that part when it comes to some African American communities, because there is no call to support from social workers or the crisis team that responds to a medical crisis. I would say if you have a family member experiencing mental health issues, when you call the police, also ask them to send a trained member. If they have any members trained in crisis for mental illness, send them with them. My family member is experiencing a mental health crisis. Please send help. Do not just send the police. We need help. They're experiencing these symptoms. I don't want anything to happen to them, but please approach with understanding. They have symptoms. They're experiencing, they may be seeing things, they may be hearing things. You have to break it down to law enforcement sometimes and let them know they're experiencing a mental health breakdown. They may be experiencing medications or just simple whatever may be going on. If it's not medication, you can't explain, but this is the symptoms of their diagnosis. Explain ahead of time. Because a lot of times we get on the phone and call the police. They fighting me. They got a knife. They got a gun. And the only thing dispatch is going to put out is I got a person screaming saying they got a relative with a gun. That is what's going out. Officers are responding on that call, right? He got a gun. He got a knife. He acting crazy. Calm down. Explain to dispatch that you have a relative that is experiencing, that has a diagnosis, experiencing symptoms. He's not like this all the time. It may be medications, or he may be experiencing symptoms. Please send the crisis team. Please send EMS in the crisis. Okay? You got to explain to them what you need. Because if they're just coming based on you screaming and hollering in the background and you running around with the phone, they're going to come to act like they're coming to protect you and stop a threat that they have heard over the phone. Okay? That's how they're coming. They're not responding to mental health. They're responding to somebody that may be trying to kill somebody, and that's what they got. So you have to explain when you're calling, and don't worry about what the neighbor's going to say. Oh, they got mental health. No. At this point in time, you're trying to not only save help, but you're trying to save somebody's life at the same time. Stop worrying about what people are going to think if you have a relative that has a mental illness. Stop thinking and writing about that. Because that's what gets us sometimes in this issue with police officers unaliving people because they don't have the full information. Because people are embarrassed. I don't want to tell the police. I don't want anybody to know that they got a mental illness. Hell with that. We gonna stop. And sometimes they may know. Because a lot of times the officers know who the people but diagnosed. They come to the house many times. And sometimes you still get an officer that comes out there and don't care. Because a lot of times officers will come, they know the house. They know the homes in the community. They know where Uncle Bob with they call him unfortunately Crazy Bob. The police know that this person has a diagnosis. They know you already called. They came to the house 20 times. And so how they approach that house is like, y'all, this Bob, let me go talk to him. Somebody already developed a rapport with Bob. So if they know it's Bob that has a diagnosis, sometimes the officers will go, or the dispatch, y'all, it's Bob. Y'all know we've been to the house. They will know how to approach Bob, right? Somebody go, hey, y'all, I got a good rapport with Bob. Let me go over. So the officers on duty know who needs to go. Because why? They know Bob has been diagnosed. But I have called before and I made it very clear. Don't think about hurting them. I need you to be cautious, but don't get crazy. Yes, that's exactly. If you got a crisis team, because most time if you call and you let them know you need mental health crisis team to come out, a social worker, somebody to come with the law enforcement. Let them know what you need. Don't call being afraid to say, hey, I got a family member that's experiencing experiencing symptoms, mental illness symptoms. They got this diagnosis. Please don't hurt them. If you can send somebody out that can talk to them, do they have a weapon? I don't know. They may have, but they're afraid and they're scared. Now we know how to approach the situation. We can let them settle down. We can get somebody in there that can take the time to develop a rapport. We can get a therapist on the line. We can get somebody there from the crisis team, somebody there that can talk to this person. And yes, it requires patience. It requires the right people responding, not some impatient law enforcement. Let's go get them. I'm tired of being out here. You got that one too. Is crisis. If they have a crisis intervention team, some people don't have that money and that funding. I wish every department was funded for that. But as we know, not all the time. A lot of times in socially challenged economic communities, you have jails. In the suburbs, you may have many more resources. But a lot of times you may not have those in certain communities. Especially socially economic challenged communities, you're not always going to have that resource. Would it be nice to have everybody to have it? Yes. Would it be nice to have everybody trained in crisis intervention and recognizing and having the empathy, the approach? It would be nice, but it's not there. It's not always there. The money is not there. Mental health was always if anything was going to get cut from a budget, unfortunately in many communities it was mental health. Okay? We're just now getting attention on mental health. Okay? We're just now, in the past 10 to 15 years, maybe now 20, focusing on mental health and law enforcement. I was out there when there was no mental health. I was on the street when there was no mental health out there. And responding to, quote unquote, Crazy Joe House. The mental health was go get them. Go get them. Family member call. Lock them up, go get them, take them down to the county hospital, sit with them for the next hour, next 8-9 hours. That was what they dreaded. Most officers, you being taken off the street. And CSB Community Service Board is not connected to the police. Is in the state, in the hood. Yeah, but everybody doesn't have that. Everybody don't have it. Every community doesn't have a crisis team. Every community don't have a crisis response team. It would be awesome, but as we see, all communities doesn't respond with a community crisis team. Illinois does have a team. I believe yes, most people don't have it. Most people don't have it. The response was the police. Go get them. Oh, Bob family, Crazy Joe family just called. Yeah, we going, y'all. What's the crime? 12 police cars going to respond to a call that somebody's experiencing mental health issues. And we didn't even think about mental health. All we know is at that time, before I knew anything about mental health, before I knew anything, all I know as a police officer, I was going to this house. This person was going to fight us. So we already geared up. We know we're going to fight. That's the first thing coming to our mind because we done been to Joe House. So what's the first thing the sergeant gonna say over the radio? Y'all get ready to fight because he gonna fight us. So we're not looking to solve no mental health issues 20 years ago, 25 years ago. We were going to have to fight. So the call come over, we need 12, everybody go. So you got 8 police cars going to Joe House. 8 police cars pulling up to a mental health. Because why? Because he might be off his medications or he might be on PCP. Is it PCP? We don't know. But we know it's going to be a fight. Why? Because if this person right now, as I know today, when somebody is off their medication and they're not doing well, imagine fear. Somebody said they become extremely strong. That is fear. Adrenaline makes them strong. Imagine having people, your mind, first of all, paranoia. You're off your meds. Your mind is telling you all kind of things. Now you've seen all these people coming. Your adrenaline is going to make you strong. And if it's not drugs, it's definitely going to be your adrenaline. Now you fighting somebody who's fearing for their life. So now you got somebody who has no control over their fears and their emotion. They're off their meds or whatever drugs they may be on. You're fighting fear. You're fighting adrenaline. We used to gear up. And I'm in Virginia. After the senator son cut him up. They changed the law. Okay, I remember those days. Yeah. So every state is different, right? Every community is based on funding. And again, mental health is still working on getting there. Okay, still have an issue with we still have an issue with jails being the sometimes being the solution. Okay, it's still out there. Jails in many communities is still the answer to mental health. Jails are still the answer, especially if you don't have the money and the funding. You may have one. You have some counties with multiple behavioral centers, and then you have some counties, and especially in the city, in the suburbs of Illinois, you have how many? I can tell you how many mental health centers they got. How many they got in Chicago to respond to Chicago in the city of Chicago versus how many they got in the suburbs. I can tell you where I work how many centers we had all throughout the suburbs of Illinois. Okay? Where I worked, we had so many, and I'm going to tell you, we had so many behavioral health centers under my organization throughout Illinois. Okay? How many counties were we in? Okay? In the suburbs of Illinois. How many counties was my organization in? My organization was around over 50-something years addressing mental health. Okay? Were we in the city of Chicago? No, we were not in the city. We were not in the city of Chicago. But I guarantee we were in every other community. How many counties outside the city of Chicago? But my organization was over 50 years old, and I can tell you right now, we were all over the place, but we weren't in the city of Chicago. My services did not extend into the city of Chicago. Okay? And where do you think most of the main issues were at that time? Where do you think most of the main issues were? But where were most of the resources? Okay, Cook County is full, most definitely full, and I can tell you, we had working with the juveniles in Cook County. We did have two or three mental health counselors coming in to see the kids, but it was funny because unfortunately when mental health came in, there was no place where they would go talk privately. Imagine having to talk to a mental health counselor at the table where everybody else is playing cards 2 feet from you. Imagine this. Your mental health counselor comes to see you on the floor. Everybody knows that mental health, right? Everybody knows that the lady's mental health. Imagine mental health coming to see you and you talking to them and somebody's playing cards 2 feet away from you. How much information are you willing to talk? How do you feel when everybody knows that's mental health and that's a mental health counselor and they're coming to talk to you on the floor, on the unit, and your peers, your fellow inmates are 2 feet away from you playing cards? Imagine, that is mental health. That was mental health in Cook County Juvenile. There was no office because they didn't want to be alone in the office with them. So your counseling took place on the unit. with 20 other boys, no, 15 other boys, maybe 14 other boys, and you talking and the table right next to you right there. That's mental health in the county at the time I was there. That was mental health. Okay? But when I left Cook County in 2017, I became employed shortly thereafter with an organization. I worked for baby as a therapist. I was considered qualified mental health professional. That's the title, qualified mental health professional. I practiced individual and group therapy. 15 apart held 15 on the part, our part held 300. Our part held, each part, it was like, there were several units, right? So you have 3 units. You have a total 30, 45 kids per unit. 15, an average of 15 per unit. Now the numbers would go up if we have an overflow during the summertime. You can get up to 17, 18 on a unit. But mainly, each unit held up to 15 kids, right? 15 kids, 45, how many units? We have about 4 or 5 units, right? We had, the jail was 99% African American. 99, 99% African American, and 98%, 99 plus 1, 99% male, black males, right? So 15 per unit, 15 per, 45 per unit, 15 per sale. Not sale, 15 per unit. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 unit per set. Well, let's know 15 kids on a pod, right? And mental health was done just like right there. We had, I forgot how many kids Cook County had total, but 99% of them were African American males. Let's say 98% was African American males. The rest were, and we had small units of females, and predominantly, again, black females was a higher population. Black males dominated the population. Imagine getting released on Tuesday and being back in jail by Thursday. Okay, regional jails are different for cities. Yeah. So Cook County Juvenile, like I said, mental health looks different for each community. The resources in the suburbs was plenty. It was different. I worked for an agency, but it's over 50 years old. Now well over 50. Had numerous clinics, mental health, behavioral health clinics. Without the unit, we serve both Medicaid, Medicare, and private citizens, as well. So basically, our center was open to everybody. If you were on Medicaid, or if you didn't have any insurance at all, we did a sliding scale. If you didn't have any insurance at all, we would do a sliding scale. That means if you didn't have any employment insurance, if you were not working, and no insurance was available to you, we did that. So basically, wait a minute, y'all. Let me see what's going on. I promise you. Hold up for a second. You good? Cut it out. Cut it out. Per visit per visit charge. Okay, yeah, yeah. If you were on a sliding scale and you didn't have you just didn't have a lot of income or nothing at all, you could pay anywhere from $5 to $15 per visit, right? The seeing me on a private scale, on a sliding scale with no insurance, you always pay $25 for a psychiatrist, $25 on the sliding scale for the psychiatrist, and I think it was $15 on the sliding scale to see me as a therapist. That's on the sliding scale. But otherwise, Medicaid or Medicare would pay for your services, and if you were private insurance, that cost was different as well. Um, but again, the but the services were always there. Definitely, Chloe trying to get your attention. Yeah, I've been on his phone for a long time, so he is definitely trying to get my attention. But like I said, mental health is, and I'm going back to the story. I think mental health is going to play a major part in this case with this young lady. Um, you know, it's it's sad, but I think that's what the defense is going to come up with. Um, but does that mean they obscure justice? No. Mm-mm. Because it's going to be according to the question. But we know as a juvenile, can they explain the appreciation of the crime, right? Because most time they look at kids under a certain age is the appreciation of the crime. I think they're going to show that this child here, though she may have suffered, mental illness does not excuse behavior at all times, right? Just because you're diagnosed with a mental illness, you can still go to jail, and you'll get care behind the scene. Mental illness, unless it's something that they can say that is what's the word I want to use? Help me out, coffee no cream. The only way you will probably see if you're diagnosed, uh, if she can say that she is, oh my God, what is the word term I want to use? Um, oh my God, insane, criminally insane. Uh, yeah, if she do the insanity plea. I don't know if that's going to happen for her, because that's what the only way you probably won't. You can still go. You can still be locked up, but you'll be under the insanity plea, which means you may not be culpable for the crime, right? But you may not be held fully culpable for the crime. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Mental evaluation will tell it. Yeah, definitely they're going to do one. Her state of mind during the time, this is going to be a case to watch. That's all I got to say. Praying for the family, like Coffee No Cream said, keeping our prayers up for the family. Is a tough situation. Prayer for the father, because I know he is just devastated, because he not only lost his family, but he lost his child as well. Y'all let's take care. Don't be afraid to get help for your family. Don't let don't be afraid to get help for your family. And I know sometimes your hands are tied, because in many cases, getting a family help, that could be an issue too. I've seen so many families at times try to get the family help, but when that person goes to the hospital and they do an evaluation, and this is what happens a lot of times, the evaluation shows the person is now stable, and they release them right back into the community, right? And people get frustrated, because they say, well, I called, they picked them up in 24 hours. Yes, they're going to do that. They're going to do an assessment. And if this person is found to be stable, they're going to release them. And that's the frustration of some families, because once they're stable, and sometimes they will keep them, if it's medication, sometimes the hospital will keep them long enough. Like in my situation, once my client goes under the hospital, once my client got picked up by the and transported to a hospital, they can't do dual services. So I have to release my services to that client until they get out of the hospital, right? So they can't get dual services. So when my clients were found to be symptomatic and need an additional support, and that means being hospitalized, my services stop right there. They're now under the hospital services, and there may change. The hospitals can change the medications. My psychiatrist may have them under a certain medication. The doctors at that hospital now is going to change up the medication. Now your client is under a different medication. They come back on the street, their medications have been changed. Either a different type of medication, or the doses have been changed. And now we got to work back with this client once they're released back into my care. Now we got to work with what that client is on, and hopefully it works. Or now we got to deal with readjusting the medications again. And that will be under the support of the psychiatrist and me reporting whatever symptoms or whatever is going on with the client at that time. But again, we can't be afraid to help our family. I don't care how young they are. If they need help, get help. And remember this, please, if you call the police on your family member and you know they have a mental illness, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Please, if you ever have to get the police involved and you suspect symptoms for mental illness, advise them that you suspect this, even though there may not be a diagnosis, or you suspect drugs might be involved, or you suspect that the person is receiving, does have a diagnosis, and be let the dispatch know. Don't call screaming and kicking and telling the people that unless your life is truly in danger, still report that this is a mental health issue and this person needs help, but they're a danger to themselves or somebody else right now. Okay? Thank you guys. It's been 2 hours and 32 minutes. I appreciate you all. Thank y'all for listening in. Thank you all for your input, Coffee No Cream, and everybody else. Y'all either take a breather, take a break from this news for the day, because there's a lot. We covered a lot, and I appreciate y'all coming in. 988 is the hotline. Call them instead of 911. Call 911, yeah, but call 911 if it's an extreme emergency, if somebody's been hurt, and if your life is in extreme danger. Call 911 as well. Because, as a matter of fact, at some point, as afraid as we may be, sometimes if it's that point that you need 911, somebody's been already hurt, call 911 and then call 988. Let's get emergency on the way. Let's get EMS on the way. And then let's call 988. Call both. Thank you. Call both. According to the situation, if we got people already hurt, we need to get emergency assistance on the way, and we need to let 911, let me go get Kobe, get 911, tell them I need y'all to bring out a mobile crisis team. Get me somebody on your team that handle mental health. Don't come out here and try to hurt my family. So I'm going to let y'all know. Y'all, thank y'all. Have a great day. Be awesome. Be kind. And I'll see y'all again. Thank y'all for the conversation. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the support. This is Justice React, y'all. And I'm gone.